Well, we have some breaking news coming in. The Israeli Defense Forces have said that Iran launched several missiles towards Israel as air raid sirens briefly sounded across the country. In a brief statement on X, IDF said Iran is attacking again. In a follow-up message, the military said several missiles had been fired from Iran in the past hour and that most of them were intercepted. Of course, the G7 taking place with this kind of a background. Let me rope in Ambassador Vohra once again into this conversation. Ambassador Vohra, do you think this is also, a lopsided approach of the G7 to, have a predisposition that a war is taking place in which Israel has attacked Iran for independently and sovereignly trying to develop nuclear technology? And the G7 has called on to, in fact, name Iran as a major instability factor in the world. Why don't they have similar feelings towards Pakistan, sir?
Have you heard of a term called hypocrisy? I believe it exists in the English dictionary. Oh, by the way, just before joining this discussion, I had, since we were going to talk about G7, I went to look for a book on G7 in the library. So the librarian said, sir, look in the history section, you might find something there. I couldn't, neither in the history section nor in the fiction section. Nevertheless, of course,
fiction more likely, sir.
Sorry?
Fiction more likely.
All right. So they expose themselves all the time, a bunch of useless, doddering old fellows discussing all kinds of non-issues. They were supposed to discuss world economic issues, then human rights came in, then security came in, which they know nothing about, and now they talk about artificial intelligence and all this kind. This is the thing that they are supposed to be doing. No, what you have said is right. We know who's attacked whom, but the intention was not simply elimination of Iran's nuclear program. It was regime change. They don't like the mullahs, period. Get rid of the mullahs. That's the long-term goal. And that's going to happen in the next 48 hours, which is why Uncle Donald Trump, has run back and said something very big is going to happen over there. It isn't an issue. So watch for the next 48 hours. Let's see what the results are. But I rather suspect that we'll get pulled out on. This reminds me, I think Mr. Mukherjee would know, 1953, there used to be a character called Mohammad Mossadegh, the great Prime Minister of Iran, democratically elected, booted out. Why? Because the Anglo-Iranian oil company, which controlled the oil production in Iran, said, we are doing what we have to. He said, may I audit your accounts? They said, over our dead bodies, will you touch our accounts? And then he nationalized them, and then they rationalized him and had him booted out. And what were the three things that they used? So very interesting, the tactics. The first was they bribed all his military and intelligence officers and eliminated his guys. Second, they bribed all the politicians, got them on their side. And third, they got their jihadis or whatever, the naughty fellows out on the streets demonstrating. Precisely that we are seeing happening today. Israel has eliminated all these military fellows through shared intelligence. Otherwise, it's not so easy. They're sitting in a room, Dr. Kohli and I, we're having dinner together on the table. They fire a missile, it gets me, it doesn't touch Dr. Kohli. We're sitting on the same table. So targeted assassination, we are seeing that. We are seeing people about to come onto the streets to scream and yell. And of course, the politicians are running away. There's this huge traffic jam. My Iranian friend told me, huge traffic jam, people trying to get out of Tehran because a certain Donald Trump has said, get the hell out of Tehran if you want to survive. So let's see what happens in the next 48 hours. But sir, it's a joke. And I'm glad the Prime Minister went there. It was his call. But the main purpose of his visit, of course, was, as you know, Cyprus, with whom we have a certain relationship, and then Croatia. No Prime Minister has ever been there. So at least there he's setting some kind of record in going there. G7, good stop on the way. Nice food. He doesn't drink, so maybe some other soft drinks, maple syrup from Canada, whatever. Good fun, good fun. Enjoy yourselves. And we are having a discussion. Thank you very much.